a podcast created by two guys brought together by movement, transformed into brotherhood. The boys share their authenticity as they deep dive into what it means to explore this human experience, shedding light on personal trials and accumulated wisdom. Conscious Collingwood is meant to provoke thought and insight to expand your personal awareness. Come along for the journey as Justin and Jeff exemplify what it means to be a man living wholeheartedly, balancing the divine, masculine, and feminine. Welcome to Conscious Collingwood. You walked around with that much money?
It's not that much. But yeah, a little bit. You never know if you're going to need it. Need to pay someone off.
Have you ever been in a situation where you had to pay somebody off?
No.
Or give me your money?
I don't think so.
Okay. Or
I had some kids steal my Halloween candy once.
no, dude. What happened?
Yeah, I was trick-or-treating with a friend named Jeremy Stewart. We were probably...
'Tis the season.
Yep, we were probably... Let's say we're 12 years old. I'm trying to think about George's age. Maybe, yeah. And we were wrapping up. I think we were with other kids too, other friends. But anyway, him and I decided to hit a few more houses as well, waited for his mom to pick us up or whatever, over by Vanier. And we were actually by our friend Frank McGurk's house. And I had actually a spidey sense. I'm like, something doesn't, it was eerie. The streets were getting quieter. And I'm just like, something's not going to go well here all of a sudden. And yeah, these two other lads just came fucking running out of the shadows.
No.
And grabbed my bag.
Shit.
And Jeremy was bigger and stronger and more determined and probably not as much of a wuss as I was.
Yeah.
And he would not let go of his.
Damn
But
right.
I was just kind of in shock too.
Yeah.
And yeah, a whole bag.
You don't think you're gonna fight for it?
No, a whole
Was
night's
it a
worth.
pillowcase?
Yeah,
Fuck, they took
a
a
whole
pillowcase,
night's worth of work. Gonzos.
Damn.
So
Wow.
I was pretty upset. And one of the most beautiful things was he was probably forced into doing it, but yeah, his mom and him came down to our house later on, and he gave me half of his candy and stuff. So that's a nice memory. But yeah,
Get out.
yeah.
Huh. What's his name?
Jeremy.
Ah,
Jeremy Stewart was his name.
Jeremy
I
Stewart.
shouldn't say was. He's not dead. He's still alive. Yeah.
Still around? Stealing kids' Halloween candy?
You think? No, he didn't steal it.
Oh.
No. He was my friend. I don't know who the hell stole it.
Oh.
No.
Damn. Wow, you didn't even know?
No idea who
I thought
they...
you knew everybody here.
Stop
Well,
it.
no, when you're a kid, though, you know people in the neighborhood.
Well, it's dark. They're dressed in
Yeah.
dark stuff. You know,
Wow,
it's not like,
dude.
hey, who's stealing my candy? Oh, it's you, Johnny? Oh.
I've never, yeah. So my friend Jacob Dickey, we did everything together when we were younger. We even moved out together for the first time. We did everything from young lads to adults. But when we realized rollerblades,
Oh, yes.
when we started wearing rollerblades, that's when we started. We had to get two pillowcases.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
we had a
efficient.
halfway drop off. His mom would come and pick it up.
Yeah. Yes, I think I might have done that one year too. You just get so much done.
You don't need that much candy. Nobody needs that much candy, but
No.
it was more of the push and thrill. You know,
Yeah.
the adventure of it.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, our girls, they never get through it all. Plus, we kind of hide it, and it just, you don't need that much.
Yeah.
I take all the Snickers.
You're a Snickers guy.
They know that, yeah. I get all the
What
Snickers.
is a Snickers?
Snickers? It's chocolate, caramel, some peanuts,
Cool.
and then something else probably inside there.
I guess.
Probably none of it's good for you.
Yeah, for the audience, I'm allergic to dairy, gluten, nuts, so I haven't had a chocolate bar, that kind of thing, till actually I started eating chocolate bars. I'm like really healthy chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Because of the restrictions 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my first chocolate bar. 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, it was good.
I wouldn't even know. I don't know if I would call it a chocolate bar, though. It's dark chocolate, likely, and just pure cocoa or something, and it's like, it's actually very healthy for you.
It's very healthy.
Sure, we'll call that a chocolate bar.
Yeah, so that was my first candy bar. But I did love Skittles and Fuzzy Peaches and Swedish Berries. Ooh. Shit. Until I realized it was giving me asthma and anxiety.
Fuzzy Peaches were giving you asthma?
Dude, all the inflammation from the sugar and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I realized was, as a kid, I just, my mom, single mom, got, processed food and she cooked amazing meals. Don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of amazing meals by hand. But, folded to the ease and the ease of mind of, like, cereals and food that I could make easy after school and stuff. And it was processed food. And because, the education wasn't out back then. And the food pyramid was, like, fill your fucking belly full of grains and shit. And if you look around if you look around anywhere now, you realize that was probably one of the biggest injustices that the planet's ever, or people have ever done to the planet. So
yeah,
it made me sick. And then I had to figure it out when I was an adult why everything was going wrong in my life. That was a fun little journey.
Yeah.
But I realized actually, and especially, so as I got older, I started getting angrier. And it was because I was passionate, but I was directing my passion other places. And it was like conflict in relationships and stuff. And I realize now that when you study hormones, you study emotions, all your emotions come down to hormones. So if you're metabolically unhealthy, so you have a hard time metabolizing sugar, you have toxins in your body, so your organs are taxed or overwhelmed, it is going to come out emotionally. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be able to emotionally regulate yourself because your internal landscape is just all over the place.
Yeah, as mentioned before, that's one of the big takeaways I had from one of Paul's recent podcasts was it was not mind-blowing, but it sort of was because I'd never heard it framed that way.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
It's quite simple.
Yeah.
And complex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the idea that we've been lied to that long about the food pyramid and all the advertising and stuff. And
do you want to know what happened?
Sure.
So cigarette companies got lobbied and they weren't allowed to market cigarettes anymore. And so they started buying food companies and processed food, started processing food because obviously they don't give a fuck about our health, cigarette companies. And then, now all those food companies and big pharma companies sit on or lobby the government. I don't really know how well it works. I get it why these systems have been put in place, but I haven't ironed out all the details because I don't actually care to know the depths of
every
the
detail.
Corruption
Yeah.
of our government. So really, there was these companies lobbied that sugar should be at the bottom of the food pyramid, or like the thing you should eat the most. Because guess what? Perfect. It's profitable. Mm-hmm. We're just going to lie to these people. And now we have the highest rates of disease, obesity, cancer, diabetes, and that's ever happened. Mm-hmm. And nobody's, our health officials don't really talk about diet and exercise. And don't get me wrong, every doctor I've met, for the most part, is a good person, doing good things, and they're in it because they care about people. And it's just sad that the system's kind of steered its way off course.
I think it's trippy to think too that these companies would have hired like chemical engineers and other individuals with that skill set to engineer the food to not attack, but like hit your dopamine levels.
Oh, yeah.
And make you addicted to these different types of processed foods. Like when you see that information and hear talk about it or a documentary or whatever it is, you're just like, these companies are diabolical.
Yeah.
Like to think the lengths they'll go to just to make a profit.
Yeah. Ari and I, we do our due diligence, especially to be well studied, you have to study both sides and sit through it even when it feels hard to, if you don't like fully resonate with the material. And so we have been looking into nutrition from nutritionists and sports scientists, people that have PhDs and are educated individuals. And so I had to listen to these individuals say that it's calories in, calories out. There's no science that says processed seed oils or processed food is bad for you. It just has higher amounts of calories. So, which is quite wild to hear. And so, they talked about how processed seed oil isn't bad for you. Obviously, sugar is high in calories, but, at the basis of the cell, it all just goes back to sugar. And and when we come back to understanding, like, I always come back to the holistic lens, and the holistic lens would be that the planet is thriving, or, we want to come back to connection with the planet. We're in coherence with the planet. So when it loses the mystery and the magic of like food actually becoming your body, I think that's magical and pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that, last night I cooked some chicken wings with some basmati rice, and I cooked the chicken wings with zucchini and carrots, and I put this lemon dill spice on, and it was absolutely mind-blowingly delicious. And I was like, this is becoming my body. Mm-hmm. And I loved the process of making this food because it's going to be a part of my body. Mm-hmm. So it's like it strips the magic. If you just think food is food,
it takes out the intelligence of the food.
It takes out the intelligence of the food.
Yeah.
And to be someone that suffered from chronic illness, which would be asthma. I was taking a puffer 6 to 7 times a day. And switching my diet within a year, I was off all medication for the first time in my life, and I was on medication for 27 years. So to hear someone say that it's calories in, calories out, processed food doesn't matter, it's just higher density in calories, makes that warrior in me wanna fight, wanna speak up against the system. And then, I realized after, coming back to emotions, when you approach something with anger, nobody listens. Mm-hmm. So I did really well in construction because people would lose their minds at approaching problems with humor and lightheartedness. And it was very well received because nobody liked the guy that lost his shit, threw things around, started screaming, and wondered why nobody was listening to him.
It's volatile. You don't feel safe.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next?
Yeah, this dude's obviously
Yeah.
lost his mind.
His hormones are out of balance.
Yeah, his hormones are in balance. He's on his second triple of a day.
Yeah.
And
Followed up by a Red Bull.
no water.
And then a cigarette break.
McDonald's or you know what? Cigarette. Yeah, cigarette for break.
Yeah.
All too common.
It's complex, dude.
It's very complex.
Because the next 50 miles is lifestyle, and we have been conditioned to run and gun and make the money and feel the pressure of that and have the family. And there's extracurriculars in the families. And to make a wholesome meal and to do that properly, it takes time to some degree.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of hustle and bustle in this life, and it's a lot, right? And so that's why.
How do you guys How do you guys navigate that as a couple with 2 kids?
Well, I think thankfully we've created some space in our life where we have time to do that now, right? So.
Is it space or is it priority?
I guess it'd be a bit of both. Because there's times when, like, if it's just been a really hectic day and we haven't had time to, prep a dinner or something like that because we're on the road early with Ella's volleyball or G's got cheer, or whatever the heck it might be, it's just like we just got to pick something up. Mm-hmm. But in saying that now, you don't have to go through the drive-thru. You can go to the grocery store and you can just buy some fruit or some pre-packaged vegetables that are cut up, or there's a pre-packaged salad. So it's really just changing your mindset around what's fast food, and you don't have to go through the processed drive-through. And a lot of these the more established, I wouldn't say higher end, but the ones that are a little more call them fancy grocery stores. They got fucking huge food bars now, cooking you chicken breasts or chicken thighs. Different, like a Farm Boy or what's other Whole Foods. Like, there's some of these outfits out there that, like, fuck, you might just go there for supper.
Yeah.
For $20 you can get a lot of good food.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, Jess was telling me that McDonald's is like, for a Big Mac meal, $25-$30. I don't know.
I don't know either. I haven't bought one there in a little while.
But
yeah,
there's the $5 menu, and then there's the actual, like, you want a meal?
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you took a family of 4 through a drive-through, you're into $60 or more. Like, it adds up. It adds up pretty quick now. It's no different than sitting inside a restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and we really try and not frequent those spots ever. I mean, infrequent, no. Like, if we have a long trip with the girls, try and pack snacks in the car, and like I said, or we're stopping at a grocery store to grab something like we've discussed there. Yeah. And it's good too, and it is about education. And our girls now, like, it is funny watching Georgia. Like, she's conscious of her sugar intake.
Is she?
Around candy or something, or too many treats in a day. She's like, well, I can't have that. I had too much sugar today. So she's like that. And I'll sometimes like, oh, fuck, you're just a kid. Just whatever. You're fine.
Yeah. The metabolism of a supercar. Yeah.
You'll be fine. Yeah. But it is nice to see the girls
conscious of their health.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they got big dreams. They're your girls. Yeah. So.
But it's also not being so anal about it that you cause yourself stress and anxiety that, like, the machine needs fuel.
Yep.
If there's no other resources around, eat the Big Mac, get rid of the bread, eat the fake meat, whatever you have to do to sustain yourself.
Wow.
I know that you're not going to do that, but my point is, like, we've discussed this before, I believe. But yeah, there's a mindset around that to not cripple yourself.
The mindset that allows for grace is the best one. So if you when you learn something, when you know more, you
Yeah.
You do better.
Mhm.
So when that isn't actually the reality, so if you consciously know that fast food is not good for you, consistent fast food is not good for you, or making it a habit, then you unconsciously know there's a belief there. It's been instilled. Well, there's a truth, a deeper truth, that's now your body knows. But you're ignoring it and consciously making a choice to really set yourself back physiologically. Now there's, you're unconsciously like making a choice, or you're consciously making a choice that's negative. So that is going to accumulate over time. Whether it's worthiness, because obviously if you believe that you're worthy, you wouldn't make it a consistent habit. Once in a while, obviously go for it. Have fun. Get hammered. Get a fucking McDonald's meal. Have fun with your buddies. Stay up late. Whatever. But making a consistent habit. So that's the one thing you want to be aware of. And then, whenever I travel, I see it as an opportunity to fast. Because if it's a moment in time where, options are low, and I know that my body can just wait. It doesn't need food for fucking 3 days if I didn't want it to. Obviously it needs water. Water's available. Gucci. Bubbly water. It's available. And then if you choose to actually eat the food, find grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. Jesus Christ.
Well, and you almost apply the placebo effect to it.
Yeah. You say, fucking, this is the most delicious Big Mac I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And this moment, I don't do this very often. This is so good.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And the lettuce in this is so healthy.
Yeah. Fucking right.
The one leaf of lettuce in this is so good for me. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just understanding that. I think the one thing I wanted to highlight was, if you make a consistent habit, you're unconsciously or consciously choosing that you're not worthy of being healthy. You don't care enough about yourself.
That's a really good point. Very good point. And I feel like I want to bring up, circle back to what you're talking about there when it comes to food as information. One of the things I learned through Zach Bush and a few others is, at a cellular level, plants, animals, they really are, and us too, we're just a bunch of batteries, right? And the plants and the animals are taking in the sunlight, storing that energy for us and other beings to consume later, and then release that energy. It really is just a battery system. And, going back to the health of the soil and the information that the microorganisms are providing to the structure of the plants, the animal, it's all very important. Like you said, when you process and ultra process the food, it just strips all of that divine information out of the food, and we're just depleting ourselves, and then we're putting that into our body that's not benefiting us at all, right? So that was a huge eye opener too, learning. And when I first heard it, I'm so wowed, and then later on you're just like, well, it makes fucking perfect sense. Like, it's almost like common sense to think about what the sun does for us, in every element of this planet, and you're just like, yeah, we're just a bunch of mobile batteries. It's very fascinating.
Yeah. That's why when I take my shirt off, I call it the solar panel.
Yeah.
But Paul taught us about the closed organic cycle. So there's the soil, then there's the food, and animals. Obviously, animals eat the food from the soil, and then we eat the food and the animals, and then whatever isn't eaten is broken down, or we shit it out, and it's back to the soil. It's a closed organic cycle. But if we interrupt the breakdown of the food back to the soil by genetically modifying it, engineering it, processing it so it's shelf stable or it doesn't break down as fast, we're interrupting that natural cycle. And or we want things to grow faster than they naturally would in our environment, blah, blah, blah. It fucks, we're trying to outsmart nature, and then nature's going to say, well, it's starting to say, whoa, I'm getting hot, aka inflammation, because you're trying to fuck with my system.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
It is, and just
when
like
we're sick, we get hot.
Yeah.
When the planet's sick, it gets hot.
Yeah. And just like we're witnessing in many different arenas of our lives, it's just that the pendulum is swinging, and without the contrast of processed foods and diabolical companies, we wouldn't know what the other side looks like. That the duality of we have to understand the bad to see the good sort of thing, right? And so
And it's so interesting, like diabolical companies. Parts of me want to believe that. No, I do believe that there's a lot of good people in these companies too, and they have just been taught a different reality than what's true to perpetuate a business.
Mm-hmm.
They need to profit, and their model is woven into society and the system, and very well played. And maybe at the top there's a diabolical witch, but I don't know.
Well, look at the topic of glyphosate. So they spray this product, commercially known as Roundup, to kill. It's a non-selective herbicide, which means it'll just kill anything that's pretty much green, right? But they've engineered that product to be selective, so that's what you'll see sprayed on soybean fields and corn fields and things like that. So it'll kill all vegetation except the plant that the farmer wants to grow. And yeah, I can only imagine that back in the day, there was likely some good in a boardroom going, hey, we've got this chemical that is going to produce better yields, and we can feed more people. There's less weed competition, so the plant can take up more nutrients. It's not competing, blah, blah, blah. This is a cool fucking technology. And then later on we find out that, glyphosate is is hanging around us, and it's, breaking down our cells and creating leaky guts and, blah, blah, blah. And so
it's proven it causes cancer.
Yeah. Do you know what causes cancer day one of the product being released? I don't. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But 10 years down the road, you're like, ooh, shit. And so I think where it maybe, use the word diabolical again, is maybe after fucking 20, 30 years, 50 years, you're still spraying this thing and you're modifying it.
Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. Let's do better.
So that's the moral dilemma.
Yeah. What breaks my heart is, so I went to school to manage turf, and you learn about these different things and the half-life of certain chemicals and products. And I have a general understanding of some of this stuff, because you got to be a goddamn scientist to know the ins and outs of everything.
Yeah.
But when you're being fed this information, you're trusting it because you're paying your tuition, you're going to school, you have someone who's standing up in front of the whiteboard and the projector giving you this information.
I paid to learn.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's got to be true. Why would they be lying to me?
Yeah.
And then later on, you do a Zach Bush course and you learn some more information, and there's lots of slides and research and information. You're like, oh, what I was taught wasn't true. You're like, fuck. And then, were they being manipulated, or was the school being paid for? Like,
or is the sliver of the truth?
Yeah, what's going on here, And then what kind of hurts my heart too is, you have, and I have farmers in my family, but you have all these beautiful, hardworking individuals, men, women, families, raising crops, doing what they can, and they're just operating under the guise that they're just trying to help humanity too, but they've been conditioned to, spray twice a year, every crop, create these monocultures, and it kind of hurts me because it's just like these are fucking good people that are now being manipulated. Yeah. And again, that pendulum is swinging back. I paid attention a little bit to regenerative farming and the use of crop covers and just creating a holistic, vibrant soil and plant structure, and it makes so much sense. In the book I read by what's Gabe's last name? It's not Brown. Anyway, he's a pioneer in this industry, and the book is so simple, but it's enlightening and it's very spiritual almost.
Yeah.
And I can see farming and the system moving that way. It'll be a little bit slow, but we need patience. But anyway, all that to say, it's just my heart goes out to the farmers who are just doing their best to work hard, and they've just been taught the wrong things,
Yeah. Do you know the difference between ethics and morals? Oh, sorry. An ethic.
I want you to teach me.
An ethic is a code of conduct. A moral is a code of conduct that is life affirmative. So it's a moral dilemma to find out that glyphosate would be causing cancer, or processed food is causing cancer, or a myriad of diseases, chronic diseases, and to turn a blind eye and keep chugging. And Paul always says, it's hard to change anybody's mind if their paycheck depends on it.
Yeah.
Because that's their income, stability, root chakra.
Yeah.
You're attacking stability of their life.
Yeah. That's a very good point. In addition to that too, like, this gentleman Gabe I'm talking about, where things are starting to change though is when there's drought occurring or some weather damage. These crop systems that are using cover crops and are farming, we'll call it more organically, they're outperforming the monocultures and the systems that are being sprayed and in that traditional manner. And so now these farmers are going, fuck, you were able to sustain and survive all that drought and all that bullshit, and your yield's higher and everything else. They're starting to see it because now these regenerative farms are making more profit,
Yeah.
and they're finding new ways of selling direct to the consumer and cutting out the middleman or middle two people, and so that's why I'm saying the system the system is changing.
Yeah. What's that movie? Little Big Farm.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
Oh. Bring tears to your eyes. But yeah, when I first learned this, I was, still on my health journey, not fully regulated, and also I've always been passionate, very passionate. So sometimes when I get riled up about something, it can seem like I'm upset, which I gently am, but it's more passion than it is anything. So I've really tried to figure out how to explain all this information without letting it be pushy, that kind of thing. So very interesting.
To your point too, if you come across angry trying to get your point across or whatever, it falls on deaf ears, and it's like, this guy's a fucking lunatic. Like,
this guy's a lunatic.
Take a breath, bro.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that's why when I learned this information, I realized it's a moral dilemma to continue to support it. So I chose not to. And that's hard too, because then you're going to get a lot of questions from people that are closest to you, family, because they don't want you to change.
Mm-hmm.
They love you for who you are. Don't change, because then things between us are going to change, and that's uncomfortable. So, it takes a I would call it a warrior spirit, to just adopt a mindset where you're not pushy on people, but you have a moral obligation to take care of yourself and your health so that you can live a happy life where you feel fulfilled and create some sort of legacy that you can look back on and be proud of. And make decisions for yourself and maybe your family. And anybody that can't accept that is, what you gonna fucking do?
Yeah, I think one of the important byproducts of this awakening in the work and recognizing that change is necessary is critical thinking and discernment. So now when you start to take in new information that is resonating with you and makes a lot of sense, it's making sure you still apply discernment and making sure you don't become some sort of evangelist that all you do now is just preach what this person is saying.
Yeah.
Like making sure that your eyes are open going, hey, is everything that Paul Chek is saying, do you think this is accurate? Like maybe I should fact check this. Maybe I need to do some more research, or, from what I've listened to, he's so well studied, it's hard to debate him because he's got so many facts and so much data to support his not claims, but his information. Yeah. But in saying that, I still listen with a critical ear going, does that resonate for me?
Yeah.
Does it, so using discernment and it's interesting.
And to that point, that's why Ariana and I were studying these nutritionists and these exercise scientists, because, they had good information woven within some information that just did not align with me. So instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I was able to keep my baby. I don't know how to weave that back into that.
You're filtered the water a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, filter the water. And I got a lot of great information, but I didn't turn it off because it agitated me. I was able to see of course, this person had this education and their belief system, and if you have a belief system, it's closed. Mm-hmm. All belief systems are closed, so it doesn't open you up for competing information.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a really good point. I've been through that before. We're listening to a podcast or reading a book, and you're just like, "Oh, this is just heavy. Like I don't want to finish this." But then if you don't, you're going to create an echo chamber where you only want to take in information that aligns with you or resonates or whatever, and it's like, well, you're not giving enough space to this other perspective, and then you're not even finishing the call it the course of the education, because you don't, who knows, there might be some sort of truth bomb or something at the end of it that you're like, oh, that tied it all together, and I can maybe see where they're coming from now.
Or even, and have the empathetic and compassionate connection with that person, because that's actually going to help me be with anybody that maybe has adopted those beliefs. And it's okay that they feel that way. And you know what? If it's true, if your belief is true, it's eventually not going to work for them. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to be like, this didn't work. I'm looking for, some more information so that I can maybe support myself to greater health and happiness. And then, they might ask you. And then when they ask you, it's the opportunity to be like, well, you know what? I did this. And it's worked.
So when you finished listening to this information, were you able to surmise, this is why they think this about seed oils and stuff?
Yeah.
Because you would think that if they have so much good information, why is there a blockage, or why is this part of the equation when they should likely know better? Are they just trying to be disruptors or have a different opinion to create following? What do you think do you have an answer? Not that expecting an answer.
No. So what I do with nutrition and health advice, to get views, you need to be very opinionated and say like, this is the way, and everybody needs to go on keto, or everybody, don't worry about processed food. It's calories in, calories out. Simple. People look for a definitive answer. This is going to work. Great. I'm just going to do this. It's obviously worked. Look at this person. And, there's education there. Great. The sad thing about science, and this isn't science, but you can buy and pay for a result. So a lot of studies are, we're looking for this result. Can you provide this result? Because this would actually help us make money.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll figure it out. And that's sadly what a lot of science is. Instead of science being a process of trying to understand the world and put it together as a greater whole. So, yeah, there is a lot of studies and science that say seed oils aren't bad for you. Of course.
Yeah. And where's the source?
Where's the source? Let's actually really dive deep on it. Who's it funded by? Blah, blah, blah. So I can see that they probably have a mountain of evidence that it's fine, and calories in, calories out, it does work for, it can work, if you
acutely, but then down the road, what's the
you just have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
It might help you lose a lot of weight, and yeah, that might be great, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It's the quality of your body, muscles, like the quality of your skin, the quality of your muscles, the quality of your joints, like do you still get joint pain, that kind of thing, your digestion, your mind, brain fog. Oh my God, there's so many signs.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a very challenging landscape.
Well, so where do I go with this? I think this is going to be a good segue to talk about, the reason why we want to start this course and this curriculum. And the one thing I'm noticing, even as something as simple as the golf club here, we get a lot of emails. And if you listen to the podcast and you're someone who frequents the golf club, or you're someone who's sent an email in, you're like, this likely isn't you, but we get some of the stupidest fucking emails you can ever imagine. Someone asks, what's your rates?
That's a part of owning a business.
Yeah. Do you sell gift certificates? The list goes on and on. And the reason why it's a stupid fucking question is because all the information is right there on the website.
Yeah.
They literally had to bypass all the information that we've provided on the website to get to the email to type the question.
Yeah.
In the time that they did all that, they could have had the answer. So my point in saying that is, some of us are very lazy, and we're just looking for the quick fix, and we're not willing to look at the situation and go, hey, what's here for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think there's a couple reasons why. I think we just live in this age where people want the quick answer, the quick fix, and they're used to Google and they're used to the internet, and almost a sense of entitlement that I should get to have the answer right now.
Yeah.
And they're not willing to do a little bit of work to get it right. Yeah. It's like they're so busy. It's like, I can't even check. I just let me scroll to the bottom. Where's the email? Oh, okay. How much are the rates? Well, fucking Johnny, if you had taken a breath.
Yeah.
And look there, the answer was right there. So I think what I'm trying to get at is we have to be, it's personal accountability, responsibility for our own health and wellness, and find the information that's going to resonate. Because you know what? Maybe the vegan lifestyle is perfect for that body or that blood type or whatever that individual needs. Maybe it is the keto diet. Maybe it's carnivore the carnivore lifestyle, whatever the hell that one's called. My point is, you have to pay attention to yourself. There's certain things that I cannot eat, like romaine lettuce. I don't eat romaine lettuce. Most pork products, I stay away from.
Yeah.
And my point is, I didn't have a doctor tell me that. Didn't have a naturopathic doctor tell me that.
What happened? What happened?
What do you mean?
Well,
I paid attention to my body.
whoa.
I paid attention to my digest. Oh, you're teeing me up. No, but I paid attention to my digestive system. It's like, oh, that doesn't feel good in Jeffrey's belly.
Yeah.
Or, I've eaten a combination of things, and then you start realizing, and maybe it is as simple as keeping a food diary, or you're just a memory. It's like, that's the third time I've had a Caesar salad in the last 3 weeks, and it's a similar result.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Beautiful.
You remove something out of the system, and then actually, holy shit, that's what it was.
Ooh, I feel a lot better.
Yeah. So, same thing with, I used to love pork chops.
And you know what, also? Don't normalize an upset tummy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't normalize a symptom of something fucking with your system. A headache, fucking eczema, acne, upset tummy, muscle, joint soreness, phlegm, congestion in your nose. Those are all symptoms of shit not working for you.
Yeah, and as we learn more and as we pay attention more, it is just this body as a machine, as an instrument, is just so goddamn intelligent, and it's talking to us every second of our life. And if you can slow down and have that awareness of like it's communicating to us, it's like, can you please stop doing this?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, it's a relationship, and any relationship you ignore when it's trying to have an honest conversation with you isn't going to work.
Yeah.
If there's something going on and you're like, well, I guess I'll just do this again.
There's
when I feel better.
There's a person I won't name, but I'll be around this person from time to time, and they might break wind, and so if they
Terry,
do,
isn't it?
huh?
It's Terry.
No, I wouldn't throw it under the bus like that. No. But it is some of the most fucking, it's always so
Vile.
comical, but it is vile, like the fucking smells
Yeah.
can be terrible.
Yeah.
And I'll say to this person, like, I think you need to pay a little more attention to what you're ingesting. Because this isn't just a one-off. Like, every time around you and you let go,
I'm going to be sick.
it's a sewer pipe.
Jesus.
And you're like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
You're rotting from the inside.
Yeah. You know what's funny? So maybe this is a humble brag, but I actually don't fart very much.
Yeah.
And my farts don't stink. But when they do, I'm very aware of okay, there's something going on here. But that when I started dating Jess, she was like, so you're telling me where's it going?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. It's not happening. 'Cause
your cells aren't having.
I really got to the nitty gritty of what worked and what didn't,
Yeah.
and I will not go back to the place where it wasn't working, because it was a nightmare for years.
It is so interesting that, I mean, it's it's a humorous topic, but there is so much information in that, because I'm very similar. I used to be very gassy. Ask Terry. But in changing my eating habits and paying more attention, like I used to wake up gassy in the morning. Like that's kind of how I would wake up. I would just wake up, and Terry would know how I was waking up because I would be tooting, in the bed. Jeff's just about to wake up, but it's very fascinating. It was always early in the morning and whatever
Food's
else.
fermenting in your gut all night. That's
Yeah. And then needing to release, I guess. So, there's so much information in our digestive system, and
poor system not doing its job.
And so making changes and eating cleaner, and it's like, I feel like I'm similar to you now.
You're not farting in the
And when I do, and there might be,
of course,
some scent to it, you're like, oh, what's there for me?
Yeah. I still fart.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I still fart.
I usually
And
fart
sometimes it stinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a funny conversation to have on the podcast.
Yeah, whatever.
Actually,
it's real.
one thing I fucking noticed, too, part of my language, is when I'm around, like, my brother and my dad, it's celebrated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they'll, like, lock the windows, fart in the car, and shit like that, and it's almost celebrated. I'm like, no, you're sick. You are sick in many ways.
Yeah.
For one, locking the window.
Mentally, physically, you're sick.
You're mentally, physically fucked. This is terrible.
Yeah. I'll usually, like, pin the girls to the wall. Like, I'll fart on the girls.
Yeah?
That's fun. Just a fucking...
Damn, fucking dads.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just dads.
It's a dad move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad would do that. Lock the window. Smart guy.
Oh.
Great childhood, though. Oh, that's good.
Oh, mercy. Anyway. How do you segue from that, Justin?
Well, it's just... Don't be so hard on yourselves. Realize that the body's always talking to you, and really it's about listening and creating the relationship. And farting, we shouldn't normalize symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
Symptoms that aren't leading to, a life that is, liberated, and you got energy to do all the things that you actually want to do.
Yeah. I think when we're making these changes too, when you're talking about, being kind to ourselves, and patience is required, because, if you've gotten to a certain weight or, some certain chronic illnesses or pains, it took a long time to accumulate that, call it information. And so it's going to take some time to, turn around. I think you can turn around faster than, when you, what you assembled there, but it takes some patience, So you've put an extra X amount of pounds on. It's going to take a little bit of time to get rid of that.
Yeah.
You just can't lose it overnight, right? The body's got to adjust, and you have to adjust.
Or if you have back pain or SI joint pain, like, that is there's a few reasons you got to that place. Usually there's a diet and lifestyle factor that, you ate food that didn't give you the healthy form of your body to take the loads and demands that you were putting on it. The sedentary lifestyle, aka you didn't take responsibility to keep adapting the form and function of the body. So healing, constant healing. So yeah, know that it's going to take time. Shit doesn't, you got to change the form and function of the physical body so that it doesn't stay in pain. But a lot of people will submit to chronic pain when, pain isn't, you got to go into it to get through it.
And also patience in accumulating the information. Like,
yep.
I was thinking about our course and how I'm going to contribute to that, and because I feel like the information you're going to apply is well researched and well studied. There's a lot of data. Where I feel like what I have to share with people, it's so practical and it's life experience. It's how do you structure that and teach it? Because I just feel it's a little bit different. So in saying that, like I was thinking about and reflecting on, how I've gotten to where I am now, and when I first, kind of just started to wake up and I had my breakthrough, it was very simple, and it was simple practices, and it was studying the same individual that was resonating with me for maybe in a year, and then you somehow you graduate from that idea and philosophy, and then you find someone else, right? And they say, what's that saying, Justin? When the student's ready, the master will appear.
Yeah.
And that's how it really works, because I wouldn't have the capacity. Well, I guess it's my journey, but if I was to be where I was at, fucking on a driveway crying because I don't know what to do, and I the next day sign up for Zach Bush's Journey of Intrinsic Health, I don't think it lands the same way.
No.
I'm not ready for that depth of information. This whole breakdown of how the universe works. I'm not ready for that information. Mm-hmm. It had to be baby steps to get me to the point where I had enough space to allow in a Paul Chek, a Zach Bush, a Peter Crone, whoever it is that I'm idolizing these days. It incrementally happens, and so that's where the patience comes in too. You can't have yourself figured out the next day.
No.
It takes time.
It takes time. I'd overwhelm a lot of people.
Yeah.
If I was to, I give away a lot of just like, I'm going to share all the information. Hopefully you got enough memory in the bank to hold on to it. But it's very not practical. I just love sharing free information. So, yeah, I'll overwhelm the majority of people with the amount of information. And 5%, it's probably all you need. 5% at a time.
Well,
it's simple, which can be boring. And because we have a society that wants quick fix, it's like,
And we might think that it needs to be complicated.
Yeah.
You can't achieve success if it's not complicated. It's like, well, that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's the funniest diet advice? Your diet and your digestion will do so much better if you chew your food 20 times. Every mouthful 20 times. And then bring awareness to that right now and notice that you probably chew less than half.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. And, I'm guilty of that. Just, one bad habit for me is I drive and eat a lot.
Yeah.
Which is probably better than texting and driving, maybe. I don't know. But I'm
better than texting and driving.
Sure, Jeff.
Easily.
Sure, Jan.
Easily better.
But,
what are you eating?
Huh?
I ate ribs one time on the 401.
Oh, yeah. A McRib?
No. Ribs. Fucking ribs.
No, but if we're running out the door and Ella's got volleyball in Markham, and so we're driving, or it's I'm trying to get to a men's circle or something, and after I'm eating eggs. It's usually breakfast, really. But I'm doing an activity that's got me in a heightened state of awareness, and I'm driving, which can be stressful, and then I'm just hoovering in food. It's like I'm not being intentional, and so likely the food I'm taking in is not benefiting me the way it's supposed to because I'm not present with it. And my nervous system is likely, on alert, and so it's just my body's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Overall, it's going to benefit you. You got food in your belly, but it's not to the max potential. Maybe it's 50%, but it could have been 100.
It could have been 100.
You just got to slow down. And it's really slowing down, having that, connecting with yourself, fostering that relationship. But life is busy.
Yeah, life can be busy. Yeah, bro. I had something else to say there, but I lost it. There was something that was more poignant coming with that little story, and I lost it. It must have been a lie.
Well, the truth is, we don't have all the answers, and this is exploration to connect deeper with, get to know yourself a little bit more and be healthier. Because I started this journey in 2017, and you started when, really focusing on your health when you did, and it doesn't mean that it's not full of trials, but these trials get a little bit easier to navigate the healthier I personally get and the more knowledge that I have. So the time that I have to sit in the discomfort is a little bit less. But yeah, it's not because, or it's not gonna make everything better all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because life isn't meant to be easy.
No. What time is it? I feel like I want to... Oh, fuck me.
1 hour.
Jesus Christ.
We were chatting. When's men's group?
Fucking 34 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to... Should I share this story?
Share it.
I think it has a purpose. So last night we're having dinner at my mom's house for Thanksgiving.
I called.
You did
You know
call.
what? I actually wanted to say thank you for calling me back just to make sure it wasn't an emergency.
Oh, really?
That's very kind.
Yeah.
Because you could have just ignored the call.
Mm-hmm.
So that made me feel that you care about me.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thanks.
What I respect, too, is there's reciprocity in our relationship. You'll respond to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's other people in my life that don't respond to the phone.
Would you like to name names?
No, they know who they are.
Okay. They know who they are. Okay.
I actually had this idea that I should message one of them and go, I'm bleeding. And just to see if they'd even fucking respond.
I need help.
Yeah.
SOS.
SOS.
I've fallen.
It's like...
Broken my leg.
It's like...
I'm 20 miles away from home. I'm
just
stuck in a bear trap in the forest. Here's my location.
Yeah, but I never want to cry wolf because then that can set you up for failure if you really needed help or something. But just even one time, just to see if they even respond. He's not bleeding that bad. He'll call the medics. Anyway, fuck me. The point was, in this story,
Call your dad.
Yeah, that's right. My dad was a paramedic. So we're sitting there, and Terry's telling some stories back in the day when she was an educator. She worked as an EC and a DEC in the school board system, and you talk about seeing some wild shit. Like, these teachers and these educators, because you're obviously working with children and you get to know their families and see some personal shit. And she also worked temporarily, because she couldn't do it, was a social worker. She actually had a call to do that work. But, you know, some human beings live so rustically, like even just hygiene.
Oh, yeah.
Hygienically, they are failing. And, you know, I shouldn't share the stories, but like the one, like she had to leave the house because she was fucking vomiting. That's how dirty the house was, and the smell of urine and everything else. And it's like, how the fuck as humans do we get to that point? Yeah. Even on a primitive level, if you're living in a cave and you're using the corner over here as the washroom and stuff, but you keep that separate from everything else, like where's the psyche and the human brain go? Like, this is okay to live in this filth, you know? And the other story she was sharing last night, it's kind of funny, but it's not. It's heartbreaking. And we'll see if I can get through without laughing. But this one young kid came to school in kindergarten. He had a water bottle. It was a fucking Smirnoff Ice plastic bottle.
Oh. Well, we washed it out.
Well, yeah, hopefully there was no residue of vodka in it. Actually, it was a Smirnoff Ice. Yeah, so maybe whatever, regardless. It was an alcoholic container.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Terry and the other, you know, staff member have a good laugh over it and everything, and you know, swap it out and get the young lad a proper water bottle. But my point in bringing that story up is the disconnect. Like, where does that happen? Fundamentally, like, even if that family subscribed to the food pyramid that was a lie, they'd be better off than how they're living, right? And so it's so fascinating. And I mean, I think this gets into politics and you know, just how, you know, our society's been structured and this lack of personal accountability, to be honest, when it comes to, you know, handouts and EIs and all that bullshit. People just lose all sovereignty of and accountability. It's like,
the disconnection.
The disconnection.
They have zero relationship with themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you look at them as people, they're probably not healthy.
No, not at all. But I think every town, every city has these pockets of areas that are, there's families and individuals that have less means, and less means usually means cheaper food and call it cheaper information. And I think the likes of you and many others are trying to help and support those and others. And it's a complicated,
it's very complicated
situation. But maybe it isn't either. Maybe there's some.
It's not complicated, but it can be really scary because when you go down this path, you realize that you have to have a relationship with yourself, and that can make it very uncomfortable for people. If you have a hard time having an honest conversation with yourself, or coming to self-accountability, or taking responsibility for your actions, most people will. It's amazing the discomfort people go through to not face or take accountability or be responsible or and the truth is, not making a choice is still making a choice.
Well, and here's some contrast too. To be kind and compassionate to that demographic, you could be a billionaire, and you could have the jets and the mansions and 100 mistresses, and you got it all.
100 mistresses.
100 mistresses.
Jesus, it's a lot of navigating.
Yeah, it's a lot of cell phones likely.
100.
100, yeah. Well, 101.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to have one that's.
If you're having mistresses, you have a wife.
Yeah.
So, or a girlfriend.
You could be the greatest athlete. You could be whatever, but you could be hurting inside. You could have a complete disconnection with your own personal self-awareness. So, those are the polarities. It's like, we can
100 orgasms with 100 different mistresses, and you're still not happy.
Yeah, think about that though.
That's what's at stake.
That lack of self-awareness, and then that's why.
Well, if you believe that happiness is going to come from outside of yourself, then you're going to have the 100 mistresses and the jets and the boats and the car, and you're going to marry somebody and think it's going to make you happy, and then you realize it doesn't, because you're actually not doing anything for yourself. What actually makes you happy, because you don't even know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You just think,
Where does that breakdown come from? I know, I got my answer.
Fuck.
Because both situations are really fundamentally the same.
Yeah. See, my breakthrough just came from, I always believe, like, I can't believe that I'm just so different than everybody else, that I have to have asthma for the rest of my life, that feel fucking sick all the time. Like, this sucks camel dicks. And I wanted a good life. I just wanted to be happy. That was my.
There's so much power in that. You get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Fucking done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And to be honest, I did mushrooms one time, and MDMA, but I felt love for the first time in my life. And the moment I felt love and peace and happiness and connection to a greater whole outside of myself and within myself, I realized, like, obviously doing mushrooms every day isn't sustainable. And I recognize that there's moments when I'm not on psychedelics or substance where I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually comes in from understanding. Whether, first it was externally, like I would have a relationship where we came into understanding, and then there was love between us, and I was like, ooh, I like that. That feels good. And then I realized, through doing, fucking Paul Chek, being very honest, realized that, I have to create a relationship with myself. And then when I was able to come into greater understanding of myself, say I, had an outburst and I was upset, and then I realized, like, I'm upset because of a past hurt that had happened to me. And then I was able to be like, I'm sorry, little Jay, that happened to you, and you don't need to perpetuate the problem, and just by having a little bit more empathy and compassion for your situation, I found love for myself. And then, I don't know if I went down a rabbit hole there, but really it was, I found great peace over time. It took years.
Yeah.
What was yours, Jeff?
Well, SD card's almost full. What was my...
What were you going to say? You said you had yours.
Oh, well, where I was going with that is I think fundamentally it's a lack of leadership. And not to get into politics, but that could be at the very top of our social structure. But then that breaks down into the loss of elders and even leadership in our own families and our own tribes. And where's the learning coming from? Where's the education coming from,
Can't even lead yourself.
Exactly.
Look at leading yourself has got you to where you are. It's not a good leader.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're seeing out there, and that's why there's all these different types of coaching courses popping up and all this different information. It's getting away from the traditional school system and people that are feeling called to help and support humanity, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, and it does feel so freeing when you can liberate yourself that it's divine, and it becomes a feeling inside that's a gift that needs to be given back. And I still love this business, and I'm still going to create it and expand it. I have huge dreams for that, but I also feel like I'm going to multitask and help and support where else I can,
Yeah.
And I look at someone like Jesse Itzler, who I look up to, and he's got a beautiful family, and he's a serial entrepreneur, and he creates businesses to help and support people while he's still making a profit. And
moral.
Yeah.
That's
And it's everything from, I won't even get into it, but he does so many different things. And they help people, and they employ people, and it's beautiful. Yeah.
That's how we heal the world.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a fact. Do the work on yourself.
So with Jesse, it could be something. He had this big. He's huge on scheduling his life in advance. He's just a plug and play guy. Like, that's his thing. Yeah. And he starts this big ass calendar club, he called it, or whatever. And so there's some coaching and teaching with that, and information of why this is important and how it works for him. And then the next thing you know, he's starting a running company, and he's supporting people that way. And then he has a festival that's focused around fitness and sauna and cold plunging and recovery. And then he's got another one that's like a fucking Mount Everest hike, or whatever he calls it. I think it's 29020, whatever the hell is this. It's like a Spartan race, or triathlon, whatever. It's that physical pursuit.
Yeah.
And that inspires hundreds of thousands of people that show up, So guy's a wizard with what he does.
Amazing.
But at the core of it, he's helping people.
Yeah.
With each individual endeavor he takes on, there's people at the core of it, right? So I think that would be aspire to do something like that. Would be pretty cool.
That is cool. Beautiful. And that's what we're trying to do. Help people come into greater connection with themselves and have a create meaning that's moral and ethical.
Yeah. And I feel good too because I'm 41 right now. I do feel like I've accumulated a lot of information, and I'm ready to support and help and do what I can while continuously learning. And I think where I've stumbled a little bit on my journey is feeling that what I know now, I feel like it's common sense, but it's not.
It's not.
And I think that's a trap for me, so I have to get over that. Because, there might be some imposter syndrome stuff, but I actually think it's more so that, just an element of like, what? This stuff's all common sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not, you goofball. But when I look at my age and I look at other people that started to build their wealth and success, it's around this age because, I won't get into it because I could talk for a whole hour about this Vince McMahon documentary, the guy behind the WWF, as silly as it sounds, but he is a very complex individual, and I just became fascinated with him as a human being. It's fucked. It's both beautiful and fucked all at the same time.
That's life.
You want to
right
talk
there.
about it's insane. He just lived his trauma in front of the world every day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But my point, getting off topic there, is, he wasn't until he was almost 40 years old where he really started to, build some momentum in his business. And it wasn't probably until he was 50 or 60 where he really, made a profound impact. And then even into his 70s here,
Wow.
And you look at, other business moguls now, like, it's hard to do that stuff when you're in your early 20s and 30s. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much information in life experience required to get to a point where then you can really take advantage of everything you've learned,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm lucky I found a wise elder that, young, a.k.a. Paul Check.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we don't stop talking about him, but
Hey, he's my mentor.
I feel like Paul is a combination. So, like, someone like I've come to enjoy. I'm using some discernment around this individual now, but like, Aubrey Marcus, I enjoy his message, but I'm also questioning certain things. I love Zach Bush, Peter Crone. Who else? The list goes on and on. My point is, when I look at Paul, I feel like he's a beautiful combination of all these different people that I look up to. He's like the summation. Because he does feel so well balanced.
Yeah.
So that's why me personally talk about him enough, and I know obviously you do too. Because I think he'll go down as a modern day Jesus.
Maybe. Gandhi. Something. I'm deeply grateful I got to meet him and learn from him, and while he's still on this planet.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I'm going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll learn from other people too.
Oh, 100%.
I will. 100% will.
Can't stop learning with just
God. My mom, she said to me 2 years ago, she's like, I knew I was going to be a successful mother if you weren't dead or in prison by 18. And I said, wow, Mom, that's so nice. And she's like, I changed that. Now it's that my boys are lifelong learners.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, great, because I definitely am.
I think it's a great way to
And my mom loves Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Is she
So my
Jesus
mom
lover?
loves Jesus. She's a Christian. And my name, Justin, she actually says, I named you because you were going to be my just warrior.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, thanks for that. Now I'm passionate and fiery and want fucking change in the world. Thanks for that. So that's really nice.
Yeah. I think that's a great message and a great way to wrap up. Yeah. It's important to be a lifelong learner.
Yeah, fight for what you believe in. Yeah, create a life that you want instead of let life happen to you and then realize that you're not happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have all these expectations that aren't really realistic because, can't. You know what? You can't change anything. You can't change life outside of yourself. You can change life within yourself and how you look at life happening outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that would simplify everything. Hour 18. This is a long one.
This is a long one. I wonder if we have any buddy listening to the end of this, Justin.
We got men's group, dude. It's time.
Hey, so yeah, if you made it this far, thanks so much for
Thanks for listening.
sticking around, and you'll appreciate it.
Do we ever?
Yeah, so
If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to pay our bills, and you guys make a lot of money from this, so thank you.
Thank you for being with us. We love recording these podcasts. If you know anyone who would resonate with today's episode, we would be grateful if you would share it with them. If you have any questions or comments, do not be shy and reach out. We would love to connect with you. Until next time, be well, love yourself, and live consciously.